Good morning. It's our Saturday coffee chat. So we just finished doing some chit chat, catching up. Just talking about, we're finishing up prep week and we're going to go into our June group. Can you believe Monday is June 1st? I just can't believe that we're in the 6th month of the year. Seems like most days have gone by kind of slow, especially with everything going on. But then all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, we're in June. So we have actually Sheila and Erin on the call this morning that are both finishing up their first month in our groups. So excited to hear about, what they've gotten from it, how it's helped them, and what their progress has been. So I'm going to ask people in the group to just share what's been going on with them. And I'll start just really quickly to let you know, like when I got on the scale yesterday, because I usually do mine on Fridays before the weekend, I actually gained 2 pounds this last month. And for me, it's just a reminder how important nutrition is. Like it's not that my nutrition was horrible, it just wasn't intentional. And we have days where that's not really yo-yoing, right? 2 pounds, I could lose that in a few days. But it's that we all have that normal fluctuation. But to me, it's just, how I feel. I can tell with not being very intentional with my nutrition as much as I want to, and the results that you get from that. So this, for myself, for going into June, I'm going back to 21-day fix. I'm going to be following for the 3 weeks, 21 days, what the program was intended for. I'm going to be following the program to a T, just to show, what is possible, like I did in the very beginning. So I'm actually pretty excited about that and starting today with a refresh. So it's always exciting when you're starting fresh, right? Okay, so through prep week, we've talked about goals. We started out with goals, looking at what your why is and what obstacles you may have. What is your 30-day action plan? Picking out your workout if you're transitioning to a new one, making sure you print off your calendar. We all have the apps, and then getting into the meal planning. So last week we talked a lot about meal planning. So if you have that template, make sure you're utilizing that. And then just being very mindful and intentional with creating your habit of using the tracker. And obviously this is the weekend. This is the habit that we create of making sure we have our plan and we're prepping our food. And then personal development. So that brings us into where we're finishing up Atomic Habits, or we were going to finish Atomic Habits. So if you're still reading that, good, keep reading, right? That's a great book, and it can be meaty, so you can really get into it and take your time with it. And then I think Erin is got the Miracle Morning coming. And then Deb and I are going to be doing You Can Drop It, and just bringing you some of the tips and strategies and lessons out of that. So we're still going to be very, working on our mindset through June, and think about maybe some book recommendations for our July group that we can all kind of get back into on one book together. So just my one takeaway from the Atomic Habits, and then everyone can share theirs. It is chapter 20, the downside of creating good habits. I thought, this would be interesting. But habits are the backbone of our pursuit to excellence, right? Our pursuit in getting to that goal, in improving what we're doing as we're working towards that goal. Because remember, we're focused less on the outcome and more on the identity. We're focused more on who we're becoming and within the actions that we're taking to get to that outcome. If we only focus on the outcome, once we get there, we may not have created that identity of the person who has achieved the outcome. So once you get to that outcome, it's like, okay, now what? And you really just revert back to old ways. So our focus is on, those things, the actions that we're taking on a daily basis, being the person who does that consistently, and that outcome just is a natural byproduct. So in our pursuit of excellence. So however, the benefits of habits come at a cost. and I'm just going to read this because he worded it so well, and it's just 2 paragraphs. At first, each repetition develops fluency, speed, and skill. But then, as a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to feedback. You fall into mindless repetition. It becomes easier to let mistakes slide. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking about how to do it better. And this is just like smack me upside the head today, especially after gaining the 2 pounds, right? And feeling like I feel the 2 pounds. It's more than just a fluctuation. That's how I feel. The upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside of the habits is that you get used to doing things a certain way and stop paying attention to little errors. You assume you're getting better, but you're gaining because you're gaining experience. But in reality, you're merely reinforcing your current habits, not improving them, which is usually this is a minor dip in performance, is no cause for worry. You don't need a system to continuously improve on how to brush your teeth or tie your shoes. But with these habits, with those habits, good enough is usually good enough. The less energy you spend on trivial choices, the more you can spend it on what really matters. So I love that. And we have to discern which ones are the ones that we just don't need to think about, where we've created that habit, we're good with that, and which ones do we want to improve. So when you want to maximize your potential and achieve, the next level of goals, you need more nuanced approach. You can't repeat the same things blindly and expect to become exceptional, expect to achieve that next level result. So it's a combination of having your automatic habits and having a deliberate practice of knowing what the things are that you want to improve on. And so just the final thing, a couple pages later, he talks about he goes into big stories and stuff, is, this really ties into our prep week and why we do this at the end of every month, at the beginning of, a new group. Reflection and review enables the long-term improvement of all habits because it makes you aware of your mistakes. I don't really like the word mistakes, and helps you consider possible paths for improvement. Without reflection, we can make excuses, create rationalizations, and lie to ourselves. We have no process for determining whether we are performing better or worse compared to yesterday. So we look at how was our past performance in this last month. What do we want to achieve in the next month? What action had we been taken that's not working as well as we'd like, and how are we going to improve on that, and how we're going to tweak it, right? And so that's kind of like I just found myself right there, right now. He's speaking to me. And so I'm excited because we know we can improve, and it's not going to be this big major upheaval, right? It's just little things that we have to do, a little slight, that 1%, 2% change in what we're doing to be able to get great results if we do that consistently. So I think of it as a good thing. It is positive, but we can be optimistic about just making some small changes and getting to where we want to go. So that was my big takeaway. I thought that was pretty powerful, and that it really is in line with this prep week that we do. So who else has a takeaway to share this morning?
Mine was the chapter before, and it was really focused on, like this, it says, the greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. So I was pretty proud. I was actually real proud of myself on the 10 rounds because I really did not miss a day of that workout. And why is that? Because I've done Shift Shop and 21-day fix and 80-day obsession and all of those, and I've always missed maybe a workout here and there, and I really look at the calendar and it's not all marked off, so I beat myself up. But it was just the idea of boredom, and if you're not excited to get into the workout, the lack of motivation sets in, and that's part of the Atomic Habits, is that you recognize, or the cue of what it is you're trying to break a habit, inverse law. And so why is that? Well, maybe this workout isn't really for you, and that's okay. It's okay to choose midstream and say, hey, this is not cutting it for me. And I did that with Barre Blend before, and then that competitive nature inside of me going, well, I didn't finish. I got to finish it sometime. So I started it again. But this time, learning from this group, my big toe, I have a bunion on it. But if you just wear shoes doing the program, it helps you a great deal. And lo and behold, it does. So you get that motivation, figure out what it is that it's not working for you. See if you can use something different and apply it. And that's where the boredom, you try to tweak it a little to make it better or funner or whatever it is to get you motivated. So that was just my small takeaway out of the advanced section.
Awesome. And I love that you used the word funner, because that's what I say.
I know.
It's got to be more funner. Anyone else with a takeaway? So Deb has a video we're going to watch real quick, because today in our prep week, we wanted to talk about taking your before measurements, your before stats, does it share about how to take a photo, Deb? No, okay, but that's easy. So just with a photo, how I do it with my phone without having to, I used to get my son to do it and he hated it. Especially if I was wearing my swimsuit, is use your timer, right? And you can, like you're taking a selfie, but then you use the timer and it's at the top of your screen and you can set it for a 10-second timer. I have, a couple different tripods, but you can set it up against, a water bottle or something like that and just have it positioned and take a couple of them. And that's how you take your before photos. And keep it, and then I save it to my favorites in my album on my phone so that I don't have to go searching through it. It's right there. And then these are for yourself only, right? Unless you get to that end and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this major result and I really want to share this, then you can do that and inspire other people to jump on board. But that's just how I do my photos. So if you want to share a screen, Deb, and yeah, security on so you can, and then we'll watch that quick video, and then I just have a couple of points to go over and we're done.
I'm not allowed to share yet.
Oh, allow. Oh, I thought it was not checked mark and I thought that I had enabled you, but I didn't. So there you go.
So you can find this, everything's in Beachbody On Demand, but it's in the blog section and it tells you how to make proper measurements. And I kind of noticed that I've been doing it wrong after actually reading this, but it kind of gives you tips visually, where to measure, using your thumb and pinky and the bust. I wasn't measuring my waist right, come to find out, where my belly button, I was using it higher, and my hips, and then the leg was also, so you can kind of go through this, but here's the video. So
Is there a sound? I can't hear it. You're
you
plugged
can't?
in. Is it earphones?
I'm going to bring my measuring tape
Let
behind me.
me redo it.
Yeah.
How to accurately
I
and
have my
consistently take your
earbuds on.
measurements. All you need is a measuring tape and a scale. Consistency is key, so measure yourself before, during, and after your program. There are 5 key measurements. Number 1, the arms. Use your thumb and pinky to find the center. Number 2 is the chest. I'm going to bring my measuring tape behind me and come across my nipple line. Make sure your arms are down. Number 3 is the waist. I'm going to use my belly button as my center point. Number 4 are the hips. Bring your feet together and come across the widest part of the hips. And number 5 are the legs. Use your thumb and pinky to find the center. Don't forget to weigh yourself, and that's how you take your measurements.
Awesome.
So yeah, and that goes back to your guide page 18 and 19 on measurements and then the selfies. But also, if you use your trackers, I'm going to try to use my 2D Mindset one, but they always have the little guides in there too. So
Yeah. Okay, and I think I've been measuring my leg wrong. I just kind of measured up that biggest part.
me too. And actually, when I saw that, I was like, oh, so I told Louise about it. She goes, oh, we got to share that. I go, yeah, we should.
Yeah, yeah. So make sure you do those, and you know, and when I do it, I just kind of write it on a sticky note, and I put that in with my calendar, my workout calendar, whatever I'm doing, so I know it's attached to that. And then put it in your tracker as well. But I like to have I'm always paper and pen, right? Especially like we just transitioned, and some people lost their measurements coming over, so I always like to have that backup of just paper and pen. And just so do those, because measurements are such a great indicator that you're improving. That's, you know, when we lose inches or gain inches, like Erin's more looking to bulk up a little bit more, you know, that's going to be a good indicator that you are, because the scale always doesn't reflect exactly what's going on with your body. So, and then pictures tell a lot.
So I could do the link, Louise, so when we do final recording, you can attach it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then I just want to read this letter to you real quick, and then I'm just going to end with talking about the June BOD group. So I wanted to share a simple concept with you. It's called Today. It's simple, but very challenging. When you commit to a fitness program, you carve out a chunk of time, you work out, and you're done. But when you commit to a new way of eating and thinking about food, you're committing to every single meal, every single snack, every single day. It's important work and it takes effort, but I know you can do it. Instead of thinking about the next 30 days or 6 months, just start with today. Are you ready to create a meal that's delicious and perfectly portioned to you? Are you ready to swap out processed foods for wholesome ingredients? Are you ready to begin breaking a sugar addiction? I'm going to show you how you can do all three and more today. If you can do it today, just one day, you can do it every day. I can't wait to share how we're going to do it. And that's a letter from Autumn Calabrese from her logbook. And I just pulled this back out because I want to, you know, go on the journey. Like I'm brand new. I love this when I was struggling with something and someone says, forget everything you think you know and open your mind for a new experience. And I would encourage all of us to do that, right? We can take what we've learned from the past, definitely, but keep an open mind and just set that intention that you're going to have a new experience and you're going to continue to learn and continue to grow and make those little adjustments, you know, review, reflect, and make those adjustments. And that's how we grow and improve. So with that, I'm going to start. So I created the June Summer Strong group. It's a new BOD group. And so we had quite a few people in the May group, but a lot of people weren't even participating or showing up. And it's just kind of a way to clean house a little bit. And that was kind of one of our first groups that we had. So we've learned a lot. And so we're going to get really focused in our June group with people who are being intentional, working on their goals. I think we got a couple new people coming in. So, and that's our goal, is to kind of like bring in some new people every month to help refresh us and encourage us and to keep us like in phase one, right? Keep us in that place of open and willing to learn and staying, you know, at that place where we were excited and we wanted to go on this journey and learn things and improve instead of getting stagnated, you know? So it's important to do that. And so you'll see with, when you go into BOD groups, you're going to see the June group. And I know a couple people, you requested access. So I'm going to open that up now so you can get in there. And I'll send out invites to the other gals that hadn't put their request to join in yet, so that we can all get moved over, because Monday is June 1st. So this weekend, take your measurements, take your photos, make sure you have your meal plan, get some things prepped up. If you haven't done the work yet in going in, reflecting on your goals and your why, and what is the new action plan, look at the one you made before and how you might tweak that a little bit. Look at kind of some things that you either didn't do or didn't do as well as you'd like, and how you're going to improve on that. Because like, if you didn't do them and you're still seeing results, or just reevaluate whether, do I even need to do those things? So sometimes we think we can overthink things. So does anyone have any questions? And so is everyone excited to go into the June group?
Woohoo!
Yay! Awesome. Okay, I am going to stop the recording.